How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. I also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the work week. Maybe you had maybe you had a stressful day. Maybe it was the market conditions while you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. So here it comes. Why is Peter Pan always flying? Because he never lands. Come on, that was corny, right? So today we're going to be talking about OCGN. The messages have been coming in, so I'm like, you know what? We need to cover it today. So like I do in all my videos, let's go over the agenda, and of course, timestamps will be down below in the description. So the first thing that we're going to be going over is that we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. We were talking about areas of support that need to be respected, and a lot of those areas ended up breaking, and it gave us a price action that we have been predicting. So that is actually great to see, but again, make sure we check that out. The next thing that we're going to be going over is well as the institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. Even though we just covered it, there has been some changes as of late, and I want to make sure I share that with you guys. And also, there's going to be a new part to this video. We're going to be adding in order flow distribution. I feel this is key because then we can see, hey, how many people were buying? How many people were selling? Were these orders actually large or were they small? I feel this is key to know, especially if you are a shareholder or maybe you might be doing some momentum trading like myself. So let's get into those segments in the video, and I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts afterwards. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for Ocugen OCGN, which ended up closing the day at $10.91, being down 12.79% on the day. On the low, it tested $10.88, and then on the high, tested $13.75. So as we've been saying for quite some time on this channel, we said, hey, how key it was for OCGN to hold up this area here right at $11 in regard to support, and ended up closing below it at $10.91, and I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to dump into the after hours. And just taking a look at it quickly right now, it's at $10.66 in after hours. So this can definitely continue going into tomorrow, but again, this is barring if we're not getting any updates in regards to the FDA approval and as well as emergency use authorization or even like a supply contract or something of some sort. So just know that we don't be surprised if we end up seeing a test of the 200-day here at $9.70 come tomorrow. We will probably end up getting a quick bounce back up back into the 10s, but it would be a sell-off if we're not getting any more updates or news, especially as we come close to the end of the week. Now, one thing to also understand, we also talked about this area at 12. So that's why this $12 area, and we spoke about it many times, seeing that hold up would have been great, but if that area did ever end up breaking, we'd have a strong move going down and being at 11. So this is why it's very key to be watching these portions of the video in regards to technicals, because it will give you an idea of where the price action could potentially go. We see that we got up to $13.75 here, but ended up seeing some resistance and having a strong sell-off. Do keep in mind the market conditions also were not the greatest as well. So that got met with some selling pressure, and since it was not able to actually power itself back to 14, which I do believe if it would have got to 14, we would have had a bit more of a run, but we didn't end up getting it, and we ended up having a strong sell-off here. You could see down below right here at the RSI, we are well below 30, and I could just see this continuing to dump as the week goes on, like I said previously, if we're not getting any updates. So just be prepared for that, and I just hope that you guys were protecting your profits. This is why I always emphasize this on the channel. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we see the inflow is at 288, with 2 being large, medium being 223, and small being 62. In regards to outflow, matched up with 288, with 2 being large, 221 being medium, and 65 being small. So what does this mean? So when you see the large orders, that just means large scale orders that are being made. So the amount of shares being bought or being sold. Of course, outflow is taken into consideration, shares being sold. If we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, there's definitely been a lot of selling pressure going on here. So a lot of people are exiting out of their positions or closing out. So that's one thing I want you guys to be aware of, and do know that OCGN is a time sensitive kind of a play. There's a lot of people waiting for these catalysts to come, and if they don't come, you're going to see the selling pressure continue to add up. But what we're seeing from today, hey, there's just as much selling, but again, there's also just as much buying on the other end. So we're going to go over the institutional ownership, so recent institutional buys, and as well as the short interest information for OCGN. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see here on May the 5th, we have a closed position from the Black Swift Group LLC, and it looks like they completely exited out by the look of it. So just taking this into consideration, we already saw on May the 4th, which we covered yesterday, many institutions were investing in, and they were significant, but also do keep in mind, this is why we need to pay attention to how much they're actually paying. So an example of this would be on May the 4th when Victory Capital Management, the average share price they have of OCGN is around $4.31. And if we take a look at the Retirement Group LLC, it's at $3.85. So these institutions are able to actually hold and be able to deal with the volatility because they have a great average cost. So if institutions are closing right now, it's something really to pay attention to and to add to your decision making. Also, if we take a look at the short interest information, we can see that the short volume ratio is at 19% on May the 4th. So out of 91 million shares that were traded, we had about a short volume of 17 million. Fairly significant, but it was below 21%. As far as for the short shares availability, that stands at 350,000, and the short borrow free rate standing at 5.46, which was literally updated 8 minutes ago. And as we scroll down further and we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, it definitely has gone down, because on May the 3rd we saw it at 29, and now on May the 4th it is at 18. So that is a significant difference. So what we could see from that, hey, shorts are covering. Is this going to be continuing as the days go on for the rest of this week? It'll be interesting to see, and I will be making sure to keep you guys updated. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, one thing that I want to remind you guys of is always protect your profits. That is a focus on this channel. If you believe in the long-term prospects for OCGN, then you should not be concerned. If you are worried or you're feeling nervous or you're telling yourself, hey man, I should have been taking profits, then you should have had a different goal in mind, right? Another thing that I also want to go over, I am not surprised in regards to the selling pressure that we're seeing with OCGN. It has ran up quite a bit, and also do understand they did a direct offering at $10. So if you decide, hey, I want to go long term with this stock, at least you know if you wait until it actually hits $10, and that's if it actually goes there, then you're getting in at a good price, because a lot of institutions ended up paying at that point. But also do keep in mind, we set those areas of support in regards to $11, $11.50, $12. If it breaks through 12, it going down to 11. So that just shows you the technical analysis did give us a clear picture of what potentially could happen. I also did emphasize in the last video is time sensitivity. We are waiting for this FDA approval, and as well as this emergency use authorization, and even more updates in regards to covaxin. If we are not getting it, and I said as this week progresses, don't be surprised if this stock gets down to $10. And what is happening? It is getting down to $10 because the news hasn't been released or hasn't been any recent updates. So this is one of the reasons why I was telling you this is a momentum play, and I said that in the last video as well. Am I saying that I want bad things or I'm wishing the worst for OCGN? No, I'm not. But what I want to do and what the goal of this channel is to keep you informed and know what is going on. I don't want you guys to be bag holders, and I don't want you being worried. The stock market is a place where you make money. So you want to make sure that you're making the right decisions, and whatever stock that you invest in, you believe in the long-term prospects. So in regards to what can potentially happen tomorrow, if we do not get any news or any updates whatsoever, the stock price will continue to go down. And if it does end up gaining some momentum and going to the upside, again, this is going to be dependent on some news, or if we end up actually having a green day in the market. But at the same time, I still believe from all of the days that we've been seeing and the way how the stock has been selling off, and as well as taking a look at the order flow distribution, I don't see this selling stopping. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens when it gets down to $10, because as we know, that's where the offering was. So will it bounce back up with a lot of momentum, or will it break through that $10 level? We just have to wait and see. We'll talk soon.